Hi everyone, my name is Harrison and I'm studying business management at UEA. My placement is with Aldi and I'm based in the Chelmsford region and I'm currently working on the East Coast in Lowestoft. So I was drove to UEA because I live quite close and I wanted a university that was close to home. That was my personal preference. What drove me to the Norwich Business School was the wide variety of the course and not really specialising in anything, but having such a wide variety and learning so much about business and having that broad overview of the entire sort of business itself. I decided to do a placement year from actually starting part-time work at Aldi just as a stock assistant. I started there in the COVID pandemic, just stocking the shelves, and one of the managers approached me because he knew I attended university, just to sort of say, are you aware of the placement scheme that Aldi do? And that's what led to me completing a placement, really. And things just led on from that. Obviously, I then had the support from UEA and also Aldi as well, sort of helping me through the application process. And then that's led to having a placement today. So when applying for my placement, the most useful support the business school gave me was having a mock interview a few days before completing my final interview with two of the managing directors of Aldi. And I think this really gave me sort of the insight into the pressure of what the interview could bring. My actual final interview was very relaxed, but having that practice interview, just sort of, I was unaware of what questions were going to be asked. They worded things slightly differently to how I was practicing them, and it really just set me up for my final interview. So the steps that I took to get my placement, I think firstly is finding a suitable company. Mine was sort of right in front of me, but if it's not the case, finding a company that you'd like to work for and something that you enjoy as well. I think if you do something that you enjoy, you find the work a lot easier when working the long hours on placement and stuff. I think as well, when researching about your company, make sure you literally learn everything you possibly can about the company. Make sure you've got great commercial awareness, make sure you know the values of the company, what they're doing in the future, how the business is changing, and really just learn as much as you possibly can. So on an interview, you can really impress the recruitment people there. So the application process did slightly change because of COVID. You first have to fill out an online application form, and support was there from UEA on this as well, with having a CV workshop and stuff. So that sort of helped a lot, setting us up ready to like apply for the placement. After this, I had a video interview where you had to have a short recording and answer multiple questions online. And also UEA provided help with this on the dashboard for the placement. There's support on how to perform well. And obviously on the internet as well, you can find out as much sort of information as you need to try and really perform well on a video interview, because it's not easy at all. The third stage was a group assessment, which was meant to be held in person, but then was held on Teams. So that was very challenging to have to adapt and sort of perform as a group on Teams. And that definitely put its own sort of challenges across, where you can't just sort of like speak, you have to like put your hand up and stuff. So it was very different, but it was a really good interview process as well. And then finally, I had my final interview with two of the managing directors at Aldi, and that was the final stage. So my typical day at Aldi does vary quite a bit. At the minute, I'm currently in my store time, so I'm training up to an assistant store manager level. So at the minute, I'm currently running the shift, I'm opening and closing the store, completing all the banking for the day, providing support and to the team, making sure they're performing at a high level. I also have sort of a separate sort of project which I work on, which is all around inventory. So me and 4 other placement students, we work across the region to complete an inventory audit on all of the stores to see how we can improve their inventory. This then gets fed back to the area manager, and they then feed it onto the store manager. Also, just recently, we've completed a 5K run in Chelmsford to raise as much money as we can for Teenage Cancer Trust. And as a region already, we've raised over 400,000 in total, which is great. So one of the modules that really has helped me prepare for my placement was employability, creativity, and personal development. And I think this really, for me, it was at a perfect time of studying this module and applying for my placement. At the same time where I was working on a cover letter in the module, which I was then adapting and using for my Aldi application. And I think we also did CVs, creative CVs, and it all wasn't used in applying for Aldi, but sort of all the bank of resources that I've created definitely helped me in applying for the position at Aldi. So any advice to future placement students joining the Year in Industry scheme, I think is really to find a placement that you do really love, and especially as well, get the application in as early as you possibly can, especially with a lot of the big companies as well. The applications process is normally for the course of about a year. And I know with Aldi, in a few months, the positions are normally all full. So make sure you do try and get in as fast as possible, and really do learn about the company as much as you possibly can. You need to be fully invested. But I put so many hours and so much time into preparing, even for my final interview and stuff like that. And it definitely paid off. It was a lot easier really using the resources that UEA do provide in their Careers Central and stuff. And really just in-depth research is one of the biggest things I can say.